I'd like to call this Harriman City Council meeting August the 3rd, 2021 to order. Before we get started, we'll have a prayer by Mr. Evans, and followed by the pledge allegiance to the flag.
Thank you, Mayor, for the opportunity. Appreciate that. Mr. Wright's out tonight. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, and Heavenly, thank you for this day given us, the pleasure of life, the blessing of life, the gift of life, to be able to go and do the things we do today, that we will rejoice and we're glad in. Thank you for life that you've given all these individuals, all the people in the room tonight, whatever they may have on their minds and hearts to discuss. We pray your blessings upon it, upon this city, upon this mayor, the town, council, all the city staff. We pray for their protection. Guide them in the direction, God, that will make this city great in our county. We thank you for this in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the roll, please.
Here.
Here. Here. Here. Here. I'd like to declare a quorum. Motion to approve the minutes of the July the 20th, 2021 meeting. I make the motion. Motion by Councilman Johnson, second. Second by Councilman Frost. Councilman Johnson, no. Councilman Frost. No. Floor is open for discussion. Call the roll, please.
Brian Frost.
Yes.
Buddy Holly.
Yes.
Tim Johnson.
Yes. Yes. Motion carries. Motion to pay the salaries. Motion. Motion by Councilman Meade. Second. Second. Second Councilman Howell. Councilman Meade. No, second. Councilman Howell. Floor is open for discussion. Call the roll, please.
Brian Frost.
Yes.
Buddy Holly.
Yes.
Tim Johnson.
Yes.
Tim Meade.
Yes.
Sam Russell.
Yes. Motion carries. Motion to pay the bills. Motion. Motion by Councilman Russell. Second. Second by Councilman Johnson. Councilman Russell. No, sir. Councilman Johnson. No, sir. Floor is open for discussion. Call the roll, please.
Brian Frost.
Yes.
Buddy Holly.
Yes.
Tim Johnson.
Yes.
Tim Meade.
Yes.
Sam Russell.
Yes. Motion carries. At this time, we'll hear from delegation. If you'd like to address this council, please come up to the podium, state your name, and limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Got nothing out here, well, anyway, everybody knows me, Roy Lawson. That time of year again, back to school back, that's right. You guys have been a part of our badge ever since it's been started. This will be the 17th year of the badge. Last year we had a lot of uncertainties going on, so we didn't do it, okay? But this year we're gonna kick it out good, hard, bang. We have St. Harvest Food Bank coming in this year. I understand they have food boxes for 200 people the last 2 or 3 days. That's part of the bag. But we also like to do away with the other things that we do, the laptops and games for the kids. We also have a blessing box in our neighborhood, a low-income housing area. We didn't know if you knew that or not, but it takes a little money to keep it stocked and filled. It's going good. It has canned good, food, toys, you know, stuff people that just coming in, need a little help. So, I'm here today asking you guys if you would like to continue to be a part of this band. I'm running it solely myself. I'm total charge. Hello, that's right. So, everybody else involved, okay, it's me, all right? Now, if it's not money that you like to donate, so you might want to buy purchase some stuff yourself and we'll give it away for the city. That way you know what's going on. You understand what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is we would hate to lose the money that's put in because we really don't collect that much anyway. You see what I'm saying? And they think that we lose what's going to hurt us. We hope this thing on the food be a big deal. We're trying to catch those people that work and still need help, but unfortunately today is on the day that they will actually be at work. But we hope they can work something out where they can get down there, you know, when you don't have any money at all, the government kind of steps in and help. But then we got to really work, a lot of times they need help as well. So we try to reach everybody, okay? Not everyone that needs help. So if you have any questions you'd like to ask, let's have it.
What's the date of it?
The date of this one, we're kicking off August the 20th. Most of our gifts and stuff will be given away online, okay? That way we can reach people. This with the food deal, they will be coming in and get out because of this virus. Everybody understands what's going on, you know what I mean? So we gotta be safe still. So we just play what goes on. You know how we gotta do it. We think the best way to do it is to let them drive out with the food department to take out.
What kind of donation are you looking for?
From you guys can get your $500. But like I said, if you don't do that, you might want to go out and purchase some stuff yourself, like you still want to look cigarette. And yes, we'll give it out, you know. It's whatever you like to do. Anyone else?
Also have any comments from Mr. Floyd besides his Georgia show?
Now, too, each year, the treasurer requests, I give them a budget report of the following year, okay? Or else it gets kind of nasty. So, anyway, we gotta make sure we give them that. Also, the police department, we wanna let them know what's happening, because when you get a big crowd of folks, you gotta have water, you know what I'm saying? For a fire department, we don't look for no fires, but, hey, you're about service, we don't know. You can have an alert too. Anyone else?
I make a motion we donate $500 towards back to school bash.
I'll second.
We can't return in paperwork.
Motion by Councilman Meade, to, give, $500 to Black School Bash, with the paperwork on the doctor as far as what they have to do. Councilman Russell, second. Councilman Meade, anything else? Councilman Russell, anything on the motion? Floor's open for discussion.
Thank you.
Well, hang on, we voted.
Oh, all right.
Any other discussion from council? Call roll, please.
Brian Cross.
Yes.
Buddy Holly.
Yes.
Jim Johnson.
Yes.
Kenny Me.
Yes.
Sam Russell.
Yes. Motion carries.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dallas.
I live across the street from Farmville Park. Don't try to talk a little slowly. It's a tree in the park. It's just my car. Last one fell, put it in my car. This one falls going to crack it. I don't know. I guess you can get it cut down. But that's when I'm here, I hear of that. But I did several years ago, the tree fell like that, and I don't know what you do.
Have we looked at the tree? Charlie, have we been over to the tree?
Yeah, it's pretty close to the last tree that fell up there at the park. And it's pretty close to it, it's right there at the house. I told him to go up tomorrow and look at it. If that'd be okay. And we'll see what we can do.
So, Charlie, look at it, and if it needs to come down, it's in parks and we will take that. Okay? Take care of it. Thank you.
I'm Bruce Knobloch, president of the Cornstalk Heights Historical Community Organization. Of course, I've been here several times before. I also want to introduce to you our vice president, Dick McPherson, is back here, and Ken Mingan, who I think you all know as being a longtime servant within the city of Harriman. We wanted to share with the council that we've actually kind of providentially, because Ken was coming up with the desire to volunteer man the Harriman Museum, the trailhead, at the same time that our Cornstalk Heights board was discussing the possibility of going to the city and offering to do that, which means that it would be open with volunteers, no cost to the city, so that more visitors to the community would be aware of it. We would also be looking at, expanding the exhibits that are there. This would be a way to encourage some long-time families in the community to perhaps donate other material that can be added to there or loaned to the museum. In other words, just make it active. And so, as I say, Ken was coming up with the same ideas as we were organizing it. So we are right now in the process of developing a plan to do that. We talked with Scott Mason as to how we can manage that. But what I did want to do is to let you know that we want to open it on the Labor Day Festival. And that would be an extra day. That was where we could essentially introduce to the community and the visitors downtown that we do have a museum. And then we would be establishing a regular schedule for having the museum open. Just talking with Ken right now, we're looking at probably a Tuesday through Saturday duration, 5 days a week, in which we would arrange to have volunteers there. We understand this takes some coordination with the Rome State as well, with the Princess Theater, but those are the issues we will work through in the next month or so. But I think this is a great opportunity for Harriman to shine by opening up that facility for people to visit. Thank you.
Thank you, and it's exciting. We have talked with Ken, myself, and Scott has talked to him about the museum. We've also talked to Mr. Bruce. It's exciting that we get to open it and put it back into use. So we're excited about it. We're excited about what's going to happen. Before anybody else comes up, I'm going to let Scott introduce a firefighter in case they get a call. They may have to leave, so I'm going to do that real quick.
Come on up, Jordan. Just want to introduce to people we have in attendance tonight, and our city council and mayor, our newest firefighter. This is Jordan Boland. Jordan started yesterday and has already been enrolled to receive some further training throughout his career. But he and I had a long talk with Chief Daniels, and he loves Harriman. He has some great ideas. He's always wanted to be a fireman, and plans on making this his home for a long time. So I asked him to be at city council tonight just to introduce him to you, so he'll be a familiar face, and let everybody know Jordan Boland is on board.
Glad to have you. He didn't have a speech?
I told him to have one ready, but
Good evening, glad to be here. I'm Alan Lutz with the Rome Alliance. I do the education and workforce development, and I wanted to give you an update on some of the activities that the Rome Alliance is doing that affects Harriman and the county. I handed out a brochure, and also to everybody who's here. This introduces the Tennessee Scholars Program. This is a program that Scott Mason is very well aware of. As a former principal of Midway High School, it is targeted to all students, but it emphasizes academic. If you look inside of it, it's this page right here, lists up the requirements of being a Tennessee Scholar are, talks about academic requirements, classes, GPA, must have 95% attendance, 80 hours of community service, and no out-of-school suspensions. Across the county-wide, there are, the highest year we've had was 31.2% of the students that made the Tennessee Scholars requirement. Last year, we gave out 10 $300 scholarships for students. Those scholarships are to take on to secondary education if they're going to school, be it college or trade school, or for them to use to pay for work expenses. For example, we had one student who went to TPAC, had to buy tools, and so he used the money for his tools for his chosen profession. We also had the program review the career days, the middle school career day, which includes all 8th graders, in the county is held at Harriman High School. And the tentatively set for October 7th, and companies that participate in the are throughout the area. For one, the fire department. How do they know ahead of time?
Mayor knew, I don't know how.
Okay, the Harriman Police Department and HEB participates in that career day. We have about 50 businesses that participate every year, and the students are all coming again, like I said, to Harriman High School, and that's a full-day event. We also, last year, because of the pandemic, the career day was scheduled and got canceled. And so, working with Long County Schools, we created a virtual career website for students to gain information, watch videos, for the things that they didn't get to see at the career day. And that website is now permanent on Long County Schools server, but not only is it available to students, but for any business or any citizen who wanted to learn about businesses and organizations within the community. We are working with, particularly in this month, August, with our Workforce Development Council, and that's working with educators and businesses, particularly with businesses to help them with the current recruiting issues that we have going on. A lot of the workforce dropped out during the pandemic, and a lot of replacements for that are going to be graduating from our high schools. And so the career day makes students aware. We have a high school career day. But we also are working with a program now in getting TCATS, which is the Tennessee Career Awareness and Preparation System. It helps introduce businesses to students online and allows business representatives to coordinate directly with educators for anybody that the educators want to come into the business, to talk to the students. If they want to do virtual meetings, they are able to do that also. Finally, I'll add one more thing that's off the education area, which is what I work in. The Jingle Mingle we held last year for the first time. It was for businesses to come out to the barn at Maple Creek and just have a day for small retailers to get some business generated. We did that because of the pandemic. It was difficult, so we had masks, a lot of cleaners available, space things out, and it was a tremendous success. So we're doing that again this year on November 13th and 14th. It's a Saturday and Sunday, and we hope that everybody shows up and helps our retailers. And if you have any questions, I need for everyone, let me know. Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you.
Thank you. Appreciate you coming.
Good afternoon, Mayor. Good afternoon, council members. My name is Rodney. I actually own the hospital in South Pittsburgh, Tennessee. I was talking to the mayor and some of the council members as well. Seems like 3.5 years ago, I just did this to another council as well too. What we did with Old South Pittsburgh Hospital is I had purchased it in the same kind of condition that the Harriman Hospital is across the street. And what we did is we turned it into a mecca pretty much for paranormal research as well as a community area for South Pittsburgh, Tennessee. We use it for paranormal research. We do it for historical tours. We do it for hide and seek. We do it for a bunch of different types of activities that we use in the hospital. About 3 years ago, it was about 3.5 years ago, I stood before the city council. The hospital was already being utilized for that, but the person who owned it prior to me wasn't paying taxes. They weren't doing the proper things for the building, and the building was kind of deteriorating. I've been a paranormal investigator for about 20 years now. Been coast to coast, pretty much border to border. Fell in love with the building, ended up purchasing it, and we turned it into something that is actually incredible for South Pittsburgh. And we'd like to do that again with the beautiful building that's across the street here in Harriman. It came to my attention through some of the Harriman paranormal investigator teams that you have here. I've talked to the mayor, I've talked to some of the council members, and we're really excited to sit down and hopefully move forward with a project for South Pittsburgh, for Harriman. Primarily what I wanted to do was introduce myself. I'm Ronnie. And if anybody wants to kind of go on the South Pittsburgh website that we have, I've owned the building for about 3 years now. We moved about 86 tons of garbage out of the building. We got rid of the mold, we got rid of a lot of the issues that the building had prior to me. And I did the same thing, we sat in front of the council. The council was kind of a little iffy on what we were going to do with the building. 3 years later, we are probably one of the best businesses in South Pittsburgh right now. We have an event this weekend which stars the Ghost Brothers. Anybody familiar with them? They are TV celebrities. We have over 120 people who are coming this weekend to do a paranormal investigation at our building. As far as New Zealand, we have visitors come from. As far as Tennessee, we draw from all over the United States. And we like to do that here too. I've had the ability to walk around the Harriman Hospital. We've done some research. We've done some what the building is going to need. And we would really like to move forward with the project with the city, purchase the building from the city, and move forward and turn it into a paranormal research as well as historical event, which is kind of neat because we just had a gentleman who was talking about museums, and we would love to sit down and work with that, or work with the historical too, or the historical society in the area, and if not, we'd like to start one of those as well. If we work very well hand in hand with the Historical Society in South Pittsburgh. One of the things that we key into when we purchase the building across the street is that we want to make sure that the hospital continues to be a piece of iconic history of Harriman. We do paranormal research there, which is the main income that we generate for the hospital, as well as tax dollars. But what's really, really important is we share the history of that building and all of the nurses and doctors and stuff that made Harriman Hospital what it is, what it was before, and what it's going to be in the future. We find that we get a lot of people who come like all over to do events with us, and we'd like to have that opportunity to do that here as well. If anybody has any questions for me, we actually have a 5-year plan that we would like to go over with you guys as well too for the hospital. Eventually, we'd like to do a bed and breakfast across the street. There's just so many possibilities with that building, but primarily our background is paranormal research and ghost hunting, that kind of stuff. And like I said, we've been very successful. South Pittsburgh Hospital is on the map. We are probably one of the biggest paranormal research centers in Tennessee, if not the nation. And we'd like to put Harriman on that map as well too. One thing that's really neat is I'm pretty connected in the community. Brushy Mountain is about 30 minutes down the road. Brushy Mountain also does a lot of tours and does a lot of paranormal research. We would like to work with them in order to kind of cross, have people go from here to there, which is really, really good. We did that with Hales Bar when Hales Bar was doing some of that, and we would cross promote them. Brushy Mountain is ideal. They're right down the road. They're about 31 minutes from here. So we'd like to work hand in hand with them. But most importantly, we'd like to bring people into the city of Harriman. We bring a lot of revenue in. We have a gas station that is actually right in front of the hospital. Since I have purchased South Pittsburgh Hospital, last year the numbers were up 181% over the year prior to that. And that's all people, that's our people who are coming in. They're buying food, they're buying gas, they're buying pop, they're doing that stuff, that kind of stuff. Harriman is a really pretty town. I've got the opportunity to go around it, and we'd just like to support the town, and we'd like to move forward with that.
I have met with them a couple times the first time we met, I was one of those like, yeah, we've heard people want to do this and that, and I was a little leery, but as we have talked and as I've done my research, I've got on their website and looked, I've researched what they do, how they do it. We have also called South Pittsburgh and checked into them to see exactly who we've called. Some of the department heads down there, we've called the mayor's office and talked to them to see. Everybody we talked to said it was truly changed in South Pittsburgh and what they do, and that you all are stand-up act, that not an act, but stand-up group. But the group before you, there's problems out there that since you guys have had it, it's going nothing but keep increasing. So just want council to know that we did start looking into it to see exactly what it was, because we didn't want to waste their time nor ours. And me personally, I think it could be something that could turn the hospital around a little bit. I have talked to the business owners downtown to see what their thoughts was, and everyone I've talked to has been excited that it will bring a lot of people in that can never come to Harriman, that may do stuff in Harriman. So, that's what I've looked into. Now, there's a lot more to look into. And as I've explained to them, their first step is going to the Industrial Development Board, not going through us. The 5-year plan will go to the Industrial Development Board, which will have to approve it. And basically, it's not on the council to make that decision. It's on the Industrial Development Board. I'm sure Industrial Development Board will reach out to you guys and see what you think. So, I think you just want to come and introduce yourself and what you're doing. Like you'll be around there, if anybody who's talked to you, give you ideas. But, the first thing that we talked about is this is not, we're not going out and trying to pull up the evils and the devils and all that stuff. That's not what it's about. So that's the first thing that most people know. It's bad. I don't think that's what it is.
And we're actually a very community-driven group. We do food charities. I mean, oh my gosh. Leanne Rogers is here. She's actually my project manager. Last year, we gave out over 30,000 pieces of candy to the city of South Pittsburgh. We're going to do it again this year. This year's really exciting. I'm sorry, I get a little touchy because the work that we've done is phenomenal. Other paranormal groups have come out and we do a trunk or treat. The communities behind us, we had a line that was all the way down Holly Avenue. We couldn't see the end of the line with the kids. We gave away free pumpkins. We're a very community-driven organization. We did a food drive for Thanksgiving. We did Toys for Tots for Christmas. So everything is really geared around the community. And it has to be that way because that building across the street was this community. That building across the street was where people went for healthcare. They lived, they died there. They were repaired broken bones. South Pittsburgh is the same way. We all take that into account that this was a building that was the centerpiece of pretty much South Pittsburgh. Harriman Hospital is the same way. And we want to be able to give back to the community by doing things with trick-or-treating and trunk-or-treating and that kind of thing. So we give back as much as we put into the building. We want everybody to know that we're really excited. I know Leanne's been calling me every day, like, what's going on, what's going on? So like I said, we just primarily wanted to introduce ourselves, let us know that any of the things that you have heard about South Pittsburgh prior to me is completely different. I sat before the city council, like I said, and I put about 150 hours in with them, convincing them that the direction that we wanted to go was good for the city, and the mayor, as well as Mr. Vest, who is the city manager, is thrilled. We just bring so many people in, and everybody's got good things to say. If you go on our Facebook page, our reviews actually just speak volumes about my staff and how wonderful we do. So, like I said, I just want to take a few minutes and kind of introduce myself, and if anybody has any questions, we'll be happy to answer them.
So that night I met with y'all that afternoon when you set your equipment up, turned into an interesting night.
It was very intriguing, yes. We use equipment that if anybody's watched anything on TV, we have all that equipment, and I think we left about 3 o'clock in the morning after we locked up, and it was what we in the paranormal world called really active. It was really neat. And if I have a few minutes, do I have a few minutes? Okay. I can tell you kind of about one story that we had across the street, which was really kind of neat. We were all up in the recovery area, and we all thought we saw somebody walking around. And the spirit kind of chased us around in circles, and it was kind of unique because every one of us saw this spirit. And at the end, he kind of went into a corridor and disappeared, and then we were all kind of like, oh, where'd he go? And you hear him laugh, you can't find me. So they're actually active over, they're wanting to tell their story across the street, and we want to be able to do that for them. So it's kind of a neat investigation, and you stopped by that evening. We were hoping that we were going to have more council members come by, but yeah, it was a pretty neat evening.
All right, he'll be around after the council meeting. If you guys want to talk to him or
Thank you for your time.
do all of the audience. Thank you. Anyone else like to address council? not, we'll go into reports. Harriman, you set the board.
Well, exactly. I did want to take just a minute on behalf of the Harriman Rotary Club to thank the city for their support of our first ever Harriman Rotary Club Luau family night we had. So several of you in attendance, I really appreciate the support. Also, the support of the city to get park ready for us and to get good equipment down there for us to use. So thank you again for that. With that first fundraiser, we were able to but quite a bit of money. We think we're putting in around $3,000 for us for this particular fundraiser. So thank you. As far as Harriman Utility Board, I don't have a whole lot to report. I did want to mention that there is some issue with the traffic signaling at the intersection of South Rome Street and Richard Road. You may see that it's been going out pretty frequently. And we're going to need to stop Mason very soon. We'll work on that and let you know what we need to do about it. You also may or may not be aware, TDOT has contacted us. They are planning to start the road widening project in Midtown. That's where there still exists a two-lane between Midtown and Rome State. That's going to become a four-lane. And right now they're saying that they'll let the project in June 2022. I think it might be a little bit longer than that. That basically we got our letter of notice that activates the utilities to get ready and get some drawings together. It's a little bit. We'll have to go in on front end and do utility relocations and have the road lines like we do on Ridge Road. That's coming. It's all after tonight and we still have questions for you.
I look on the traffic lights, so you all now can control like when you're supposed to flash at night, that would go through you all.
There is a contractor that the city employs, and normally what happens is everyone who goes to work responds, and if we can reset and get the lights working to do, I think we might be able, our line makers will work, but I think they do a little bit of programming, but anything that requires intense effort or very much work, we're making that good contractor. But preliminarily, what I've been told about intersection is that we're having to come in and reset times and days. Something about the old fire and the new control system that the TDOT installed is not working together very well. So we're having to call all the government call out rate to get them to work on it. We can probably figure out a solution. One of the reasons I think it's been put off is because the city's got some grant money to work on all the traffic signals around town, and we're starting to lose opportunity to think about that. Also know what it's being and it's for the citizens here. I just want you to know that we're aware of it, and we'll talk with the city manager and figure out what the best solution is.
Anybody have anything for Ms. Candace? Thank you, ma'am. Street department.
Mr. Mayor, on the light, when you get a line as big as goes the red light, it's not correct to get it done. And if we get one side, I reckon look at the reason I know. They do get, ATV is, change the time and stuff, doesn't do that. The big line comes back and can't do it. So we trimmed, back trees on Morton Road, trimmed and cut back. We try to get some roads where the buses could get through out there, and so there's still more than many trees down there. Me and Mr. Mason, we went down there and met with TDOT and tried to get some of the issues straightened out. So we mowed them in, Midtown, South Harriman, try to cut some streets back where people not more. Trying to cut back Short Street, chip tons of brush again, still hauling pretty good amount of junk. Hauled tons of rock, riverfront park, really made the road through. We got plenty of that. Plenty of rock that circled out the rock toward the view. We fixed water fountain under the bridge at riverfront, changed the clean garbage cans downtown, fixed the riprap ditch on 27, the dentist office for Mr. Smith's playing over the road. It's falling in. One ditch crossed from CBS, cut tree, up Cummins Street Park, it fell, big limb. There's a lot more stuff we do, that's just some of the big things that we do.
Anybody have anything to explain? Thank you, sir. Recreation and golf.
That's the first start off from, I forgot about our Dixie Youth State Tournament. Seems like it's been such a long time ago, but I like to say courts of praise. A lot of volunteers to come over to help us out, and Candy came over a couple of days to, come and say, about 16 teams in here. I feel like it was a huge success. There was a lot of positive feedback. Looking forward to doing that again. That was a good thing for the city of Harriman. Riverfront Park, they finished up the riprap there. And we're working on the next phase. We're looking at some prices to do finish the walking trail there and the paving the parking. Looks excited about getting that done. Splash pad, busy every day. We've got a few little things we're still trying to work out there, but we're working on it every day, and hopefully we'll get all this stuff here done. But for the kids using it every day, it's just really positive feedback. So stop there today and check the water. People just even from out of town, just said we really appreciate the city of Harriman doing this. So they're coming in once or twice a week to bring their grandkids here. So that's a positive thing for the city of Harriman. Football. Started football practice a couple weeks ago. We got our first Jamboree game August the 14th. We got 45, 50 kids, got over 70 cheerleaders. So 130, 40 kids from ages 5 to 11. Excited, kids are excited. I've got some really good help coaches, cheerleader moms. I'm excited this year just for being there. It makes a difference. We got some good help, and I'm excited about that. I've got Martha and Natasha working on a hooray for Harriman. It's going to be this year. Of course, it'll be September 6th. They're working on a lot of things. Martha's getting kids out there ready for us. We've got a lot of volunteers. She's working to get that. Several things going on. We'll have more information about that in the next council meeting. Working on with Three Rivers, we got working with the play like we did, I think probably a couple of years ago. Now we're going to try to work with the schools, go into the schools, get some kids to see if they want to come in on August the 22nd. We got a place there in the secret of the cellar. We're going to start working on that next week, and excited about that. Working on our, last night we had our first ball field with the church league started. That 18th inner playing from 5:30 to 9:30 last night. It was packed last night. So excited to get that going. Everything going back again. Golf course had a really good year last year in golf, and the place was just really busy. I guess to cap it off, Roll-Candy News, we won the 2021 Reader's Choice Award. So we really appreciate that too. Everybody voted for it. Henry Golf Course, appreciate the vote for that.
Anybody have anything, Mr. Jones?
Doing a great job, Charlie.
Thanks, sir. Library.
We extended our hours this week. The library is open to 6 o'clock in the evenings on Monday through Thursday, and till 2 on Friday, and then we're back to regular hours on Saturday, 9 to 1. The state has certain standards that they would like for each library to be able to meet. Of course, they revise them every few years, and that was one of them, adding 5 more hours to our operating hours. So we have done that. We're doing on a temporary basis to see how well it does. Hopefully, we will continue doing it. Of course, it's been advertised on all types of media. And the library is having a book sale next week. It starts next week, August 9th, and runs through the 27th. It is Fill a Bag for $4. We have been donating, a lot of books has been donated to the library for that, but we have also, I've been discarding books I discard books throughout the year, but I've really been discarding the last week or so. I've discarded 345 books which the state also requires us to take a percentage to discard a percentage of their books each year to go with the club method. And of course, one of the ways that we figure that out is by taking each book individually and seeing when the last time it was checked out. The discard makes room for the more books. The state just released funds for the library to purchase $1,375 worth of books, and the state will release additional funds of $1,620 for more books after the maintenance of airport is signed, which that will be $100, and I will bring to you to look over the signing of the treasurer. The ARPA grant is due August the 12th. It is a tech grant, but they've added more to it this year, and we're normally they ask for 50% matching grant. This is just 20%, and one of the neat things on this one is web time, which is, I'm working on it, we'll finish it up soon. The library has service agreement with the state of Tennessee, and that service agreement is a requirement for several reports. I just finished the standard survey, the quarterly report, and I actually passed you all out a quarterly report. I don't think I've ever given you all one before. It has their circulation on it, and actually how many books were bought, and how many books were discarded for the entire year, and how many times the library's been busy, how many times people spend on the computer, how many programs, adult programs, children's programs we have. There's a lot of information. Anyway, the numbers are still down because of COVID, but they are coming back up. So I thought you all might have the opportunity to see exactly what some of their numbers are in the library. We had adult summary program, which I'm going to drop classes for you at 13, and the children's program, wonderful, it's wonderful to have kids back in the library. Kind of did a great job, and all the children have done, they read lots of books. There is a lot of money that is spent for centers and prizes and awards for the summer reading program, and their old was kind enough to donate $2,000, and that pretty much covered the majority of their expense for the summer. We appreciate that help. Anyway, thank you.
Anybody have anything, Ms. Tammy? Thank you, ma'am. City Treasurer, Dr. Curley.
Well, we're in busy activity of closing out the books for last year. We will be having the last day of this month, or the 30th, goes on. We will have people that have local government to install software, credit card review, and likely we'll be down all day, and therefore we won't be able to process any payments that require a server on that one day. So, in addition, we're getting ready for auditors who will be coming in October, and we will try to have all of the files and reports that they need to fit.
Anybody have anything, Dr. Carter? Yes, sir. City Attorney is not here tonight. He is under the weather, so just wanted to let you all know we'll get his report at the next meeting. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, City Council. Thank you, City Council. I'm pleased to announce, I know if y'all are visitors here, first time on the City Council meetings, this is not our typical meeting room. We have finished paperwork, and phase 2 for the contract renovation of City Hall building is set to start. We hope to have a pre-construction meeting, if not this week, first of next week, and then they'll start to convert this to a real council meeting room and plans that we have for upstairs. So that's exciting. Past 2 weeks, since we had our last council meeting, I've continued to meet with city council members individually to discuss the progress we've made, to get their visions and goals for the city of Harriman. Just a couple more to do that, and that'll wrap that up. So those have been some really good ideas to come out, and I can't wait to get those rolling. I'll share those with you as they get nearer. I did notice that we had in the audience, I think, 3 students representing Rome County Youth Leadership. Have we recognized y'all yet today, please? No? Okay, why don't you come forward real quick? Is that okay, Mayor? If you're not familiar, we have a Rome leadership program here in town, but it expanded several years ago. It's under the direction of Kathy Parks, and it involves our high school students and our homeschool students. And I don't know these three young ladies at all, but I noticed their shirt. They're in Rome County Youth Leadership, and part of the requirements is to go to city council meetings, county commission meetings, something along that line in order to get a better vision of a better understanding of what true leadership is. So ladies, scoot over this way so you can be on TV. And I think y'all do this to fulfill your requirements, right? So tell us your name and what school you represent.
I'm Catherine Bacon, and I go to Brown County High School. I'm Sophia Frills, and I go to Oliver Springs High School. I'm Abby Bullard, and I go to Harriman High School.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, thank you. It is quite an honor. It's a hard program to get into, so these young ladies, I'm sure, will stick around to the end if you want to talk to them, but I'm really pleased that y'all chose to come to Harriman City Council, so thank you, ladies. Mr. Knobloch stole my thunder just a little bit with Ken Minded. Ken and I met this afternoon and sort of sealed the deal. I met with Rose State and Princess Theater, and Ken has stepped forward. He's met with Cornstalk Heights Historic Committee. Ken has a desire to open this trailhead back up and keep it open like Mr. Knobloch said. So as soon as we get him a key, we're going to work out all the kinks. So it is working great when we have to ready for Harriman Festival. So thanks to Ken Mine for volunteering that, and Mr. Knobloch, Cornstalk Heights, to get that trailhead open again and part of something that hopefully draw people into downtown. Also excited to announce I met this week with Rome State and Rome County Schools, part of bringing people to Harriman, but also impacting our students. We are going to see through the Princess Theater, the Children's Theater. It's going to be a two session, 8 weeks, one in the fall and one in the spring, that involve elementary schools from all the children from all the elementary schools, and hopefully be at the Princess Theater every Saturday morning for an hour to develop their love for arts and theater. And we're in talks right now to make sure that thing happens. So that's exciting. That'll be another group of people to come downtown. Those doors to the Princess will be open, and we have kids getting excited about what all we can offer it through the Princess Theater. So we're very excited about that. And also had several meetings as we come to fruition over this coming year that are going to showcase downtown Harriman. CASA, the most recent one, we'll have that in March, but I'll bring you more information as that gets near. And that's my report for this evening, unless you have any questions. Thank you.
Is it just leadership? Does Scott excite everybody? He gets excited and excited news going on here. So we appreciate the energy that Scott is showing. I like our council. As you know, I come and see y'all at least daily, and he still hasn't slowed down. I mean, it's been a blast for the last month or so, and it's been an honor with everything he's got going on. So I truly see Harriman turn the corner, and now we're moving quickly up the hill. So appreciate all your hard work and Kiva that makes sure you stay in line. We appreciate the effort you all. This time I'm going to reports. Not reports, but that's going to new business. First item, discussing possibly approved resolution R0221-01, Harriman Bike Pet Plan.
Thank you, Mayor. I think that's included in your packet, correct, Teresa? And if it looks like you've seen it before, you have. This is what I spoke about 2 weeks ago. It was approved and discussed. A project that started Tuesday. We have with us tonight representative from CDM and Associates. I think I hope I have that right. Yeah, we have Chris Kirby and Melanie Butler, but they were the consultants to put together the bike ped plan. As our understanding, we had to have it in to TDOT by the end of July, and I explained that, but as we got your all's approval, then we figured out we had to turn around and get the planning committee to approve it, which we did last week. So in order to get our steps right, after you all approved it, we backed up with the planning committee. No changes were made. The planning committee accepted and adopted that plan unanimously. So then, once again, it comes to you all. With your approval, we'll then submit this to TDOT, to our TDOT representative, and I'm sure Mr. Kirby and Ms. Butler will be around afterwards if you have any questions. So I'm just seeking your approval for the bike and pedestrian plan.
Motion to approve. I make a motion. Motion by Councilman Johnson. Second.
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Frost. Councilman Johnson. No, sir. Councilman Frost.
No, sir.
Floor is open for discussion. Call roll, please.
Brian Frost.
Yes.
Buddy Holly.
Yes.
Tim Johnson.
Yes.
Kenny Me.
Yes.
Sam Russell.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Mayor.
Next item, discuss the possible approval on final reading on ordinance number 0721-01. An ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Harriman, Tennessee, adopting an annual budget and tax rate for the fiscal year beginning July the 1st, 2021, and ending June 30th, 2022. We didn't read that caption.
We can go over the numbers.
Okay.
Since we read the legal language last time, I will dispense with reading that. If we go to section 1 of your budget ordinance, and by the way, it's on the wrong amendment, you want to look at it. Basically, what we have, the governing body estimates anticipated revenues for the municipality, and in the general fund, we expect to have total budget funds $21,323,527. The other funds have not changed, they're the same as we read before. Under the second section, you'll see that the general fund will have expenditures expected of $18,808,391. Skipping on over to section 3, at the end of the fiscal year, the governing body estimates the ending fund balances as follows. General fund, $1,896,666.04. Debt service fund, $25,959. Solid waste management fund, $58,351.26. For a total of all fund balances of $1,980,976.30. Moving on down to section 9, there is hereby levied a property tax of 1.09 per $100 assessed value on all real and personal property for the purpose of funding municipal services. We will allocate that in the following ways. The general fund will receive .8177 and debt service .2723 for a total of 1.09, which is $1.09 per $100 of assessed value. And section 10 is the same as we read before, and the only change is on the last page will be second reading, third day of August 2021.
Okay, before we get a motion, I had, and it's, it may be an amendment that I would ask for, I'm not sure yet, but I'm thinking if I ask before we vote, we have been looking, Scott, since he's been here, we've been looking at the safety aspects of the city, a safety officer, per se, and we're way behind where we should be. We don't really have a per se safety officer for the city of Harriman, and I'd like to add into this budget a $5,000 line item for a safety officer, so like what we do on the control. Mr. Johnson at the fire department, the assistant chief, is doing that now, and what I'd like to do is not add it to him personally. I'd like to put it in there if he decides that he's not doing it anymore, the money follows the position, not the person. Not anything with it, it's just a $5,000 fund, which it would have the FICA and all that on it. But I'd like to add that into the budget. We've got a lot of classes and stuff that we've got to get done, that we haven't done yet. Mr. Mason talked about quite a bit about things that we need to do. He's got John looking into different stuff right now to try to catch us up, but I'd like to add that into the budget. a $5,000 line item for safety officer. Do you all think I need an amendment, or since I brought it before we go for the second time, or you all good with that?
I think with that amount of money, it's not necessary to change the budget, second reading. We normally have, people come and go during the year, and that will probably more than cover the 5,000 that they're asking for.
So what exactly the job is for safety for over basically all departments?
All
city,
departments. And it will be doing like the sexual harassment classes, the AEDs that we have coming up, to make sure they're compliant, to make sure that the ex guys are wearing their vests and their earplug, making sure we have all the safety stuff we're supposed to do, and to, as the insurance company comes in once a year, every month, we have to have somebody with safety that goes and runs shows in the buildings and stuff. Just somebody for all departments, that will cover all departments.
You gonna do that under his normal time or?
I think that he does some extra right now. But I think what happened when we talked about this before, with the previous city manager, we talked about when he moved up to assistant chief, he went on days and came off of a shift. That would be added to his role, but we wanted to wait for this budget to do it because it was already too far in the last budget. So that's why we didn't add it when we done it. And he's been doing some of it for the last couple of months, and we just haven't been paying to do it. So that's kind of what it is. Okay. We don't need to change the budget, then we won't do any amendments or anything. Motion to approve the budget. Motion by Councilman Johnson. Second.
I'll say it.
Second, Councilman Russell. Councilman Johnson? No. Councilman Russell?
No, sir.
Floor is open for any further discussion. Call roll, please.
Brian Ross.
Yes.
Debbie Howard.
Yes.
Jim Johnson.
Yes.
Kenny Me.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item, discuss and possibly approve record service bids for towing on seized vehicles. I think that's also, it's in the back of your packet, the last page. It's also, it says this letter is in regards to bids for the towing of city vehicles. We will tow all police vehicles, parks and rec vehicles, any city vehicle, and seized vehicles. No fire trucks or dump trucks, because it can't haul with the trucks. And it is through Wheels Towing, which is here in Harriman. It's a bid of $100 per vehicle and a storage fee of $30 a day. Scott, you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, just to explain, what the city has been on the past several years was called a next service, where we utilize all the facilities, towing facilities within the city limits. What we found out in studying those three, they weren't consistent in prices, so we discussed the idea of sending out bids that would actually, to all of our record services, towing services in the city, all our services to bid, so that we might be able to save the city a little more. And again, it only affects city vehicles that have been seized, and so that's what we were looking for, to be more consistent and also possibly save the city a few dollars.
So Wheels, they'll be the only one doing it?
Yes, we sent, help me out, Keith, I think we sent out to all record services, towing services. This was the only letter we got back, the only bid. Yes, sir.
Okay. Do we know they all got their letter?
Yeah, we actually had one who called back, so they weren't interested. This bid's actually lower per vehicle than what we're doing on the next service, so it will save the city some money.
Motion to approve? Motion by Councilman Frost, second. Second by Councilman Russell. Councilman Frost. Councilman Russell.
No, sir.
Floor is open for discussion. Now, brag on your energy, and then you get up there and you get tongue tied on it.
I do have one question. Does this affect wrecks where they use them?
No, it has nothing to do with it. I think by law, it has to be.
around all the time.
And we'll continue to do the next service, next schedule, just as we had previously.
Any other discussion? Call roll, please.
Brian Cross.
Yes.
Eddie Holly.
Yes.
Tim Johnson.
Yes.
Peter Lee.
Yes.
Sam Russell.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next item, discuss and possibly approve quotes on recreation/city master plan. I'll let Scott speak on this also. We've talked about, in the last meeting, about a rec and master plan for the city. As Scott had talked about the last meeting, the dart throwing and stuff, this is kind of to stop some of that. I'll let you go speak.
With your approval, this would allow us to seek quotes or bids with companies that would provide us a comprehensive master plan. Going into our next year, you're not going to be able to get any grants, rec grants, without being part of a master plan. So it's really important, like the mayor said, to really pinpoint on what our spending is going to be. The master plan will focus on what we decide as a council, but also we utilize the input from our citizens. It'll take close to a year. And it's not something that's going to be in book form we put on the shelf and we don't ever use it again. The companies I've already talked to, this is an interactive. They'll work with the city council, they work with the citizens of Harriman in order to develop what's in the best interest, both in their interest socially, but also in the best interest of the pockets for the city financially. They'll help us apply for and achieve grants that'll help achieve that goal. The bike and pedestrian plan is a perfect example. That's already been completed, you approved it. That would fit under the comprehensive plan, so we can use parts of it, other parts, and it'll all just fit, but it'll really guide us as a city as we move forward to reach our goals that I've been talking with each of y'all individually as we move forward the next 2, 3, 5, 10 years. We did get some funds through the state of Tennessee, and correct me if I'm wrong, Doc, I think it was $82,089. So those funds came from the state of Tennessee. They're part of COVID funds, and there were no limitations attached to it. So we have that money, that can be used upon your all's approval as we seek bids to use that money to help pay for this comprehensive plan.
Motion to approve. I'll make a motion. Motion by Councilman Johnson, second.
Second.
Second by Councilman Frost. Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Frost.
No.
Floor is open for further discussion.
So is it locked us into those things? Like 3 years down the road, stuff will change, so all of us on here. Anyway, would it change to say we found something else we wanted to do? We kind of talked about the bike plan, you know, what
Yeah, the way I understand it, this comprehensive plan, it'll be set out for up to 10, 15 years, whatever they decide. So it'll be data that we use and then you all decide as a council in which direction we move. I guess within that plan, we'll have various options, but a lot of it will be from citizen input on what they want to see. I'm not sure if that answers your question or not.
I'm saying, like, if we have a good dream of putting a park all the way around the riverfront or a trail or whatever, and then we decide money would be better spent, we want to do, I don't know, redo one of the parks altogether that's not in that plan, and we step over and, can we do stuff that's not in the plan?
Oh, I think
Without
that's
getting grant, with using the grant money, because my understanding is we're doing this so we can be available to use state, federal funds or whatever. So we still going to use state and federal funds on stuff that is not in this plan, right?
We will, yes. It's like we've got a grant going right now that's not moved into that. Keith is working on it for the temperance building. Natasha's working on one that we got an idea from Councilman Wright, Blue Cross Blue Shield. So yeah, there's other grants out there, and whichever organization or group we decide to go with, yeah, our ideas can change, and that's part of that plan. It's not one that's to sit on the shelf and it never changes. The 2 or 3 companies I've already talked with and individuals, it is truly meant to be a plan that evolves as the city changes, as ideas change, as grants become available.
And I think the main thing is from talking to them about the LPRF grant and some of those grants, they basically want to make sure that the city is vested in a plan. Whether it's a plan that we're moving forward with this year or something we'll do next year, or We just want to make sure that we have a plan instead of just a fly-by-night, well, we're gonna go out here and pave the street over here on Virginia Street today. They want to make sure that we've got a plan. Now, whether it changes or not is up to the council as to how you change it, but they want that plan and say that we are investing in the future of what we do.
I understand it, I just don't want to turn into one of those, they're gonna come in and say, get this grant, we've already put something in front of them, and then they're gonna come out and say, well, we need you to do all this new architectural work, all this planning, like we do for everything that we do. So, I mean, this is just gonna be another layer of money we're spending out for, to tell them that's what we might wanna do. But they're holding us to it, saying you have to.
Yeah, and I don't think so. Just like the LPRF grant that we did last time, our first LPRF that we met and we was gonna do was to extend the walking track and put the ball fields in. That's what we were gonna go with. Well, we started writing it up, getting ready, we was gonna do this. Well, we started talking to them and they said, they're not really funding that. They're not giving that grant for that. What they're giving for is flashbacks. That's who's getting most of those grants. So we changed our gear at the rec department and went after the splash pad because that's what they was getting. We didn't have a plan, but we changed because we was going toward what they was funding, which we wanted to splash pad anyway, but it wasn't the top priority at the time. But we changed it to make it. And I don't think that they're looking, I understand what you're saying. You don't want to be stuck with it, so well, we don't really need that, we need to focus on
There's
this.
another X amount of dollars per plan that is kind of just like a guideline.
Right.
The city manager to start looking at when we could do that on our own.
One thing I will assure you, as we move forward, if y'all decide to go with this, any grant opportunities that become available, once they collect feedback from the citizens and the councilmen, and they start to put this plan together, as grants become available, I will make sure every city councilman knows before we go what's it's intended for, the cost, what it all includes, and how it fits under that plan.
Any other discussion?
What are we approving?
You're approving an alternate right for bid for a rec master plan in the city. You're just approving the bid. When it comes back, you don't have to approve the bid, you're just approving the right for it. Any other discussion? Call roll, please.
Brian Ross.
Yes.
Buddy Holly.
Yes.
Jim Johnson.
Yes.
Randy Lee.
Yes.
Sam Russell.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
Next item, discuss and possibly approve on first reading on ordinance 0821-01. An ordinance entitled, an ordinance amending ordinance number 0820-01, being an ordinance to establish a budget for the city of Harriman, Tennessee for the fiscal year beginning July the 1st, 2020 and ending June 30th, 2021. You want to read those numbers?
Yeah, just a little information. Each year, we do an amendment to cover line items that went over by moving monies from line items that went under. And this amendment is for last year's budget, has no effect on 2022 budget. It's simply cleaning up the overages, the line items that went over. And a lot of it had to do with things that came up during the year, like this building and the necessary things that had to be done to the building, caused some line items to go over. And so what we're doing is basically adjusting those overages with money that was moving from line items that did not go. I'll read it. Whereas subsequent to the adoption of the aforementioned ordinance number 820-01 on final reading on the first day of September 2020, certain changes have occurred in the revenue and expenditures of the city of Harriman. It has become necessary to amend ordinance 0820-01 to appropriate the additional revenue which has been received and/or to authorize expenditures in certain accounts. Whereas said revisions can be made in budget ordinance 0820-01 -01 without incurring additional obligations, therefore, or requiring additional emergency tax levy to cover them. Now therefore be it enacted by the City Council of Harriman, Tennessee as follows. Section 1, the budget ordinance 0820-01 is amended in the following particulars. Now, you see the detail there. I'm gonna spare you the line item increase, but I'll read the bottom line for what the total amount is we're moving to increase, and then the amounts that we're moving to decrease. The funds of the city budget are to be amended and increased as shown in the following expenditure and revenue accounts. And if you look over on the third page, you'll see the total amount that would be moved for covering overages is $623,796.42. In the sanitation fund, we will move funds to cover $3,822.03 overage for vehicle repair. In debt service, the interest regions on the ban that we entered into was more than we anticipated, and it's 1,426.15. The drug fund, we had some court-ordered refunds from the escrow account. That means we had to give the money back to the individual, and that caused that line item to overrun by the amount because there was nothing in the budget for refund, and that's $1,271. Now, the decreases are as shown as follows in a detailed line item. And if you look over on the fourth page, you'll see that the items that will be decreased total $623,796.42. That's exactly the same as what we're increasing in the other budget line. Sanitation collection fees will be decreased by $38.22.103. Interstate lighting project will be decreased by $14.26.15. Drug fund and contractual services will be reduced by $12.71. Section 2 on the last page says, be it further enacted that it shall be unlawful for the mayor or any city council official or anyone having control of said funds in the city budget for the city of Harriman to overspend or to in any way disperse said funds other than as set out in budget ordinance number 0820-01 and provided for by the city charter. Said official so acting unlawfully concerning said funds may be discharged by the ruling body of said city. Sections 3, be it further enacted that if any part of this ordinance be declared invalid, that it shall not affect the other parts or portions of the ordinance. Section 4, be it further enacted that this ordinance shall take effect from and after its passage and publication, public welfare requiring it, pass on first reading the start date of August 2021. Wayne Best, Mayor, attested by Priest here at City Clerk.
Motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve the ordinance amending ordinance 0820-01.
Motion to approve by Councilman Lee. Second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Holly. Councilman Lee.
Yes.
Councilman Holly. Floor is open for discussion. Call roll, please.
Brian Cross.
Yes.
Buddy Holly.
Yes.
Tim Johnson.
Yes.
Kenny Me.
Yes.
Sam Russell.
Yes.
Motion carries. We're about through this line. Next, discuss and possibly approve the day to observe Halloween. As we all know, Halloween this year is on a Sunday. We have, Scott has talked to Rockwood and Kingston, and we're asking council to move Halloween to October the 30th, which is on a Saturday, and take it off of Sunday. Motion to approve.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second.
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Frost. Councilman Johnson. No, I think it'd be like that on that Saturday. Councilman Frost.
No, sir.
Floor is open for discussion. Call the roll, please.
Brian Frost.
Yes.
Buddy Holly. Tim Johnson.
Yes.
Kenny Me.
Yes.
Sam Russell.
Yes. Motion approved. Next item, discuss and possibly approve paving for Riverfront Park, walking trail, and parking area. Those are in the package. Before we make a motion or a second, I'll have Scott read those quotes.
Thanks to Mr. Langley and to Mayor Best, they reached out to get quotes to pave City Park and to recoat the old asphalt, and it's something we talked about. It's in the budget, capital projects. So we reached out to 4 companies. We had 4 groups come out. One group did not, and I can't remember who didn't provide us with an estimate. We had 3 other companies. One that came in, read the name of the company, Mayor? Do I need to read the name of the company or just the prices?
I would name all 3 of them and the price.
Okay. Duracat came in at $99,224, JB Asphalt at $99,000, and Harrison at $133,200. So it'd be my recommendation upon your approval to go with JB Asphalt at $99,000.
Say Harrison one more time.
$133,200.
Some of them didn't need price the old paper, the spring. Take the asphalt, that price of spring.
To reseal the part that we was at.
Rest of them did not bid on.
Okay.
And JB Asphalt still came in, with that included, still came in the other bids, came in under the other bids, and includes striping.
And who was your recommendation?
My recommendation would be the low bid, JB Asphalt at $99,000.
And just so council is aware of exactly what we're paving, it is from Emory Drive all the way down into the park, the first parking lot you come to, and then up the road to where the farmer's market is. It stops right there. All that is new pavement up there anyway, so they will reseal it. But all that will be repaved, and the other side of the walking trail. Remember, we paved one side, we did the other to the riprap. This is to finish that paving. Motion to approve JB Asphalt.
I say.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Russell. Councilman Johnson.
We've with it for a while, so I'm happy to see it getting done.
Councilman Russell. Floor is open for discussion.
Scott, we're gonna make sure we fix the drainage issue before anything that needs to go underneath before it's done. Because there's some bad spots down there on the new side.
Yeah, I was not aware of that, but upon y'all's approval, I'd be glad to meet with Charlie and Drac, so you can go down and look at that and make sure we address that.
Any other discussion? Call the roll.
Brian Frost.
Yes.
Buddy Holly.
Yes.
Tim Johnson.
Yes.
Kenny Me.
Yes.
Sam Russell.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
That is all on the agenda. We'll go into council remarks. Councilman Lee.
No, sir.
Councilman Johnson.
No, sir.
Councilman Frost.
No, sir.
Councilman Holly.
No, sir.
Councilman Russell.
No, sir.
All right, I know it's hot in here, but I've got probably stuff I still want to talk about, so you guys just tell me what it is. First and foremost, some exciting news for Harriman, to go along with all the other exciting news. I have been working with a developer for probably a year now. When Mr. Mason came on, he picked him up. We're in contact with this developer probably daily. And Scott probably is twice a day. But we've been working hard to try to develop more places in Harriman. And we got the call today that The contract is signed. Hopefully building will start in about 2.5 weeks on the new Burger King that's coming to Harriman. So it is going in the Midtown area. It will go up, it's going in the Midtown area. It will be inside the city limits. I won't say where it's at because it may change tomorrow. But that's great news for the city. It's great news for our people. Not everybody's a Burger King lover, but we need more fast food restaurants. That's what I always hear. But anyway, great news. And just to let council know, I truly believe that's the first of a lot of stuff that's fixing to happen in Midtown. There's some other things that is being worked on. So I won't be surprised if in a couple of months we're here announcing the construction of something else. And a couple months after that, I think we'll be talking about something else. So Midtown, I don't know if I call it Midtown. Harriman is growing. It is Harriman, and it's because of, I think people see that this council has took some pride in Harriman and you gave back. And people see that Harriman is growing. We're seeing the excitement, and it's just great to be a part of it. So great news for City of Harriman, great news for Roane County. I think it will benefit everyone. I want to remind everybody, you speedsters out there, school does start this week. Tomorrow is the first half day. Friday is the first full day. So the highways will pick back up with a bunch of young people out driving, so just watch what you're doing. Labor Day, as Charlie mentioned earlier, is September 6th. We'll have another councilman meeting, one or two before then. We will be having meetings. We're meeting with the downtown business district tomorrow to discuss some of that, but we're excited. We didn't get to have Labor Day last year. I don't know why we didn't have it last year. I guess we had a pandemic going on, but this year we are running full blast with it. We've got some great things coming. Me and Scott are going to be the first ones in the wrestling ring wrestling each other. I would advise you to wager on me, but we'll see what happens. But anyway, Labor Day's coming, a lot of good things. Trunk or treat this year. As you know, last year we did trunk or treat. Even with the pandemic, we did a drive-through one. It was huge. We just about blocked all of Harriman down. This year we're going back and shutting Rome Street down and we'll do our annual trunk or treat. We have not scheduled a date. I'm thinking probably the Thursday before Halloween. I'll get with HEB and some of the other people that participate in it. But as you all know, trunk or treat has become probably our biggest event we do. It has surpassed probably Labor Day, which we're hoping Labor Day comes back bigger this year. But we've been having about anywhere from 6,000 to 8,000 people come to our trunk or treat. So it has got bigger and bigger. We've only been doing it. We've only done it what? 2 years? 3 years? 3 years. 2 years. So it keeps growing. So I'm looking forward to it. So need all the volunteers we can get. Labor Day, we need volunteers. So be a part of the city of Harriman. Come out and help us. We're excited about where we're going. There's a lot of people in the audience that is still here to talk to paranormal or bike peds or the scholars. Mr. Minor about the museum, so stay around and talk. I know it's warm in here, but a lot going on. Appreciate y'all coming. Anything else need to come before this council? Motion to adjourn. Second. All in favor, aye. Any opposed, like sign.